Welcome to another episode of Food Groups. Of course, I'm your host, Wendy Foncette, and with me, the amazing chef,
Selwyn Wickham.
Selwyn, how have you been?
I have been really, really good. What about you?
I have been excellent. Of course, I'm always excited when we're ready to bake and to cook. Of course, last week we made pan bread and herb twist.
Herb twist, that's right.
I want to report, Selwyn, that I tried bread at home and I got raving reviews. So I'll take a bow.
Wonderful.
And I hope you have been trying as well. So, Selwyn, what are we making today?
Well, today we are going to make a wonderful Italian bread. It's called Focaccia. It's a flat bread which is flavored with wonderful virgin olive oil, fresh basil, and we're going to muster it with a little bit of feta cheese and some Parmesan cheese.
Oh my gosh.
Some sweet peppers and some red peppers, and you'll probably throw in one or two other little ingredients in there.
Oh my God, so today is going to be very exciting. So you heard it, we're making focaccia. So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. So welcome back. So we're starting, Selwyn. What do we have here? Let's hear about the ingredients for the focaccia.
All right, again, with regards to our baking, we have got to start with flour, and as we spoke about in the last segment,
Right.
strong flour or a high gluten flour, which is a
Baker's flour.
That's right. Then we're going to have our water, salt, which also helps to condition the gluten, helps the gluten to work in the dough. We have olive oil for flavor, as well as to add some richness, and of course yeast for the leavening agent.
Okay, so again, we mix this in your mixer, or remember, if you don't have a mixer yet, you
can
mix
do
it.
it by hand, remembering to stretch.
Of course, we stretching the dough, guys. I hope you remember from last week, stretching the dough. So how is this dough different from the bread we made last week?
Because of the flavorings that we're going to use, and then we're going to use the olive oil, which is going to make it a nice light flavor, as well as the other ingredients that we're going to add afterward. Because we're going to mix the dough, we're going to allow it to ferment, then we're going to bring in some more olive oil, we're going to make some flavor pockets in there, we're going to roll it nice and flat. Make some flavor pockets, fill all those pockets with the olive oil, then we're going to smother it with the other ingredients.
Okay, so let's see. Let's go.
So let's begin to mix.
We're going to mix.
All right, so we always start with our water first, because you don't want, when you put your flour in, to have dry ingredients stuck at the bottom of your bowl.
Right, that is Selwyn, that's something that happens with me. The dough just sticks, because I would normally put my flour first. So that's a common mistake that we make when we make it.
And please remember, as we said last week, the yeast and the salt, we do not bring them together. So we're going to put the yeast at the bottom with the water.
Okay.
We're going to put the olive oil in. And then we're going to finish that off with the flour, and then we're going to put the salt at the top.
Right. So Selwyn, last week, okay, so we're going to talk about that because because this is a flatbread, do we still have to do the kneading like this way, that pulling it, or you still have to?
Once again, because it falls under the category of bread, and it's a yeast dough. In order for the yeast to be trapped in the dough, we must develop the gluten. So in order for that yeast to be stuck in there, we need to make sure that we work that dough so that it stays in there. And we must develop the gluten in it. We must knead it, we must stretch it, we must pull it.
Right. But I want to ask something. Yeast will make it rise.
Yes.
But it's a flat bread. So talk to me.
You just roll it flat, but you still want to get a little lift on it.
Oh, you still get a lift even though.
Right. So we're not going to put it in a bread pan, or in we're going to actually put this one in a tray. But we still want to get a little lift on it.
Right.
Again, the salt is going in.
The salt going last. I remember that. So remember, there's so many common mistakes that we make when we're doing flour. And for me, that is my common mistake. I put my flour first, but the trick is to put the water first.
That's right, so you put the water.
Just remember that. So we let this mix for about how long?
You should
12 minutes.
Absolutely right.
12 minutes. Between 10 to 12 minutes, folks. Yes.
Why do you let it mix that long?
Because the gluten has to develop. I was going to say develop. I was looking for the T word. The gluten has to develop. So welcome back. We're here and we're making Focaccia. I mean, this just sounds so, I was going to say sexy. Can food be sexy?
Of course it can.
Great. So Selwyn, one of the things I want you to know, in case you didn't pick it up just now, Selwyn, tell me the quantities of the ingredients, because that's my downfall when I'm baking.
Okay, it's simple, and for those people who don't have scales, we could use cups. So we're going to go with cups and teaspoons.
Yeah, I like cups, yeah.
So we have inside of here 1 3/4 cups of water.
Right.
We put that in first, then we have 5 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of yeast, 2 teaspoons of salt, and the 4 tablespoons of olive oil.
Okay, now guys, you have to be very careful with that, because sometimes even for me in recipes, I mix up teaspoons and tablespoons. So we have to make sure that you get it right. Of course, we have the ingredients there on the screen as well, so you can take notes. Oh, that flour looks nice and soft.
Yes.
So
we're going to bring it together.
Right. Remember, no flour on the counter. You're going to use some oil.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
So you just want to get it out of the bowl, get it up to the counter. We're going to finish it on the counter. The excessive amounts of flour is going to make the dough a little harder, so we don't want to make the dough too hard, so we don't want to put the extra flour in there. But the olive oil, because it's a focaccia, because it's an Italian bread, they love the olive oil. The olive oil is going to give the bread some extra flavor.
Yes, and that is, and Selwyn, again, I want to remind you at home, viewers, that you have to
stretch it using the ball of your hand. That's
using the ball of your hand. And you know, my friends were laughing at me, you know, they were asking me, well, why are you doing that? And what? I said, listen, watch and learn. Watch the magic.
You got to teach them all.
Yes, remember guys, ball of your hands, ball of your hands. You have to stretch that dough.
And remember, even if the dough is soft, that's not a problem. Do not add additional flour. That's just going to make your dough difficult. So just leave it as soft as it is, because your focaccia is more of a spongy bread than a hard bread.
Right. Because that again, all these are things, all these are mistakes that we make when we're baking. Because I'm looking at this dough and it really is wet. I will right away reach for some flour. Absolutely that. And that's the mistake a lot of us make. Yes, that is a common mistake. That and mixing up tablespoons and teaspoons, common mistakes when you're
yes, that's right. And this dough is ready. We're going to put it to ferment, and then we're going to put it all together, and we're going to bring it back, and we're going to fill it up in the tray. Okay, so how long do you stretch the dough for? We're going to, well, this one is actually a little different from the one we did before. Okay. Because there's a lot of fat that's going to go into the dough. We don't want to make it as elastic as the last one. So once it begins to stretch, remember we did the stretch test last week. Right. That's good. Yes. Right. Okay. That's good. I just think that's so wet. Yes, it is. But again, remember, when it ferments, during the fermentation process, it actually helps the development of the gluten, and it comes back out even more elastic, and it's not going to be as wet as it is now. So before we take the break, I want you to just zoom in and take a look at this dough. Even though it's this wet, this is the consistency you're looking for. Do not add flour. So we take a break, and we'll be right back, right here on Food Groups. So now that this has been proofed, this is what it looks like in your baking tin. So take a good look, zoom in, because this is what yours should look like. Now, Selwyn, I want to find out something. This size focaccia will feed about how many persons? Because I know I can eat half of this. That's according to how big your appetite is. Because I can eat half, but generally for normal people, how much? Possibly about 12 to 15%. About 12 to 15 persons. If you're not too greedy, right? 12 to 15. Yes, if you're small eater, not greedy. If you're small eater. Okay, so now we're going to put the ingredients. So tell me, how much of these ingredients are there in this cup? Well, the mega flavor is actually the olive oil. So you'll probably be using at least half cup of olive oil still. Half cup? Or more olive oil? Yes. We're going to make some flavor pockets in there. Right. Fill those pockets with the olive oil. Then the next flavor is going to be the Parmesan cheese grated. And it's always best to use fresh grated Parmesan cheese and not the dusty one that's in the container. Right. You get more flavor from those. Half cup each of red peppers, tomatoes, green peppers, red onions, black olives, and probably about 8 to 10 leaves of fresh purple basil. Or fresh basil. Yes. You know, you said something just now. You have to make pockets to put them in. So I'm really interested in that one because I want to know, because that's where the flavor is. That's right. And I'm just going to use my fingers. Okay. My fingers is going to make the magic with regards to the pockets. Yeah, well, you are the man of magic. What are the pockets? These are going to be the pockets, yes. Right. And we're going to fill these pockets with the olive oil.
Oh. Right, so you see that you're getting the olive oil
Right,
in there, so that's why you flavor.
Slipped into the bread. So when you're eating it, you're going to be tasting that nice olive oil. I don't know if you've realized, sometimes when you go to pizza restaurants, they always give you a little bowl with some olive oil.
That is
and
true.
The cheese and the pepper flakes.
It
comes from that tradition.
Yeah, or sometimes when you go out to restaurants, you get like bread. So you get the bread and you get like a little bit of olive oil to dip the bread in. What does that do? It's just for the flavor?
For the flavor, and as you see, all of these little pockets there, when you bite into it.
Oh gosh, do. Yes, let's go. So now that we fill this with olive oil, what's next?
So the next thing is the cheese, because we don't want the cheese to cover the wonderful colors of the other ingredients.
Correct,
So put the cheese on first.
Yeah.
And this is like 8 ounces of cheese.
This is kind of like making pizza. What's the difference?
It's Italian.
It's Italian, okay.
Add the sauces to this.
The sauces is what, and then I guess not the pockets. That's the difference. So not the pockets and all the olive oils and all that. Nice. And this is kind of healthy, yeah?
Absolutely.
This is healthy. Guys, this is really healthy. So you want a quick, and this was really quick. So you want a quick, easy dish, tasty, Italiano. So this, so now we put in these on.
The wonderful, colorful ingredients. We have the red peppers. Again, half cup of the red peppers.
Right.
Bell peppers. Half cup again of some chopped green peppers.
So I know you said fresh. You need to get this fresh, right? Mm-hmm. Can I substitute anything, or is this the standard recipe?
Well, this is what it is. But if you don't, there are people who don't like the basil. So if you prefer using another herb, you can use it on there.
Like I like pineapple. Can we put that on it, or there's
leave the pineapple for pizza?
I know, because but listen, that's the argument with pizza, guys. That's the argument with pizza. Does pineapple belong on pizza? For me, I vote yes.
Does corn belong on pizza?
But yes. But okay, so we'll have that argument after. This is the amazing chef, so I don't want to cross him or mash his toes, but this looks really pretty.
And it's going to taste even better.
I cannot wait. I kid you not.
Right? A few chunks of
tomatoes. Nice.
It looks like we should be putting this in a frame.
Yeah, it really looks lovely. And it smells.
And for your basil, remember, the thing about basil is that you should not cut your basil and just leave it there. Whenever you're ready for your basil, that's the time you want to cut it or break it up into pieces and then add it to your product.
What happens if you do it before?
You lose all the flavor.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So guys, remember that only when you're ready to use your basil, then you cut it, because you want to get all the flavor in there.
Are you should
smell. Listen, they have to have, this is technology. You must have a way to get people who are looking at this to smell this. This smells, oh my goodness, it smells great.
And it's ready for the oven.
Ready for the oven. Okay, so how long are we going to bake this for?
This should probably bake for about 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Again, we want to make sure that we have a nice crust. And it should really be baked at the bottom of the oven so that we could get the coloring at the bottom as well. Yeah.
Okay. So at what temperature are we? The
375 degrees.
375 degrees, 20 minutes. Let's get it in the oven and out so that we can taste it. So welcome back. I know this is the part I am always excited about, and I'm sure you at home, you're also excited. Now is where we take the focaccia out of the oven.
There we go.
There we go. The proof is in the taste. And from all the ingredients that we placed on this focaccia, this is such a healthy meal. It's a good way to get the kids to eat vegetables. Selwyn, I want to ask a question. I know you're going to run me out your kitchen, but can I put meat on this? I'm overdoing it.
You can if you really need to, but when you taste this piece of bread here, there's no way you're going to want to put anything like meat on there.
Okay, you heard it here. You can tell when he's a real chef. You can tell when he is the chef of all chefs. Let's go.
Let's go. Are you ready?
This is really piping hot. Let's go. Don't you try this at home, okay? This is like really hot. And you're saying this could feed about 15 persons?
Yes, it can. Look at that.
Wow, that is, oh my gosh. I'm still seeing some little pockets in there.
That's right.
Soaked with olive oil. I cannot wait to taste. And as you can see, the smoke is rising from it. It is very, very hot. So we're not gonna break focaccia today.
We're breaking bread
we're
today.
Not, no, we're not.
We're biting into it.
It's piping hot. Let's hope my tongue can take it. Love it. But I'm still smelling the herbs.
It's there, it's all in there.
And you can actually taste the olive oil.
Because the flavors have marinated well into the dough, so it's soaked in there. So when you're biting into it, you're going to be tasting all the wonderful flavors that was marinated into the vegetables, went into the dough as well.
Well, right here on Food Groups, Focaccia. See you next time. Stay tuned.